decided to actually put motion to my words. I kept saying that I should do a little more purposeful stretching because it feels good. And even if I'm not like really hitting the poses, I mean, I'm kind of hitting this poses. Tell you what, it feels really good. Might look a little funny. Oh, it does look a little funny. Could have rolled out my yoga mat, but none of this was planned. None of this was planned. I'm going to do it the other side just so I don't fall over. Be totally out of balance. Little side angle. Little Trikonasana. Oh, again, this is still probably, might always be my favorite yoga pose. Oh, I don't know, maybe I'll start doing that regularly. Maybe I won't. We don't have to decide what we're going to do tomorrow. Because you know why? Because it's today. Got enough on our plates today to not worry too much about tomorrow, I hope. Hello, Shy Guy. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Two Dads Plus. Hello, Red Tango 5. Hello, Charles Quick, Otis, Juan, Mike, Joanne, User, Eleanor, Donna, Thomas, Mowing, Nick. Where am I? I lost track of where I was. Where am I? I don't know. If I missed anybody, I apologize. R. Tom, Karen, DDR, Joyce, Breathe. Hey, maybe Breathe is a yoga person. I probably wasn't doing any breathing while I was doing those stretching. Good morning, Mowing. Good morning, Jeff. Hey, Breathe, thank you so much for liking the lives. I appreciate it. I wonder if you're a yoga person. People ask me if I still practice yoga. I used to, I don't know, probably almost every day, go to an hour-long class. And I think just like prayer and, you don't have to do it every day or go to a class or even listen to meditative music to practice yoga. I think it's kind of a state of being or a mindset. It's an awareness. It's moving your body while you're focusing on your breathing. And I don't know, I think you can bring it to every aspect of your life. And making all of life kind of moving meditation, if you will. Just kind of noticing the feeling of your hands on your leg or your watch on your wrist or the way the shirt feels against your chest. And it's just kind of an awareness. But yeah. But good morning, good morning, good morning to you. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. It is Wednesday morning. It is October 2nd. It is 5:34 a.m. Happy Wednesday. It's a show I've been doing for quite some time. It is a show about me talking. Show about me sharing some feelings, sharing the ups and downs one man has in life. It's a show that I've been doing for almost 5.5 years. And I've always said it wasn't a show about, I make a little bit of money doing it, but I've always said it wasn't a show about me. I don't do it for the money. I almost felt like it was a calling or a need or a requirement or something that one guy that struggled with anxiety most of his life and felt a little bit like he was running from things most of his life and he didn't know what. But he knew talking about his stuff made him feel better. And so I did it. I started. I wasn't planning to start it 5.5 years ago. I just started talking and people started watching and people connected with me and it resonated. Whatever I had to say seemed to resonate with an audience because I'm kind of raw Um, and I had stuff I had to get off my chest. I had to talk about. I was afraid. I was worried. I didn't know what to do in a relationship. I didn't know which way to turn or which way to go or which way was up and which way was down. And so I wasn't doing it for the money. And I was doing it because I felt I needed to. And this morning I woke real quietly in bed. It was before 5. It was early. I worked last night. I wait tables. But I woke quietly, and I didn't feel any fear or what anxiety I felt. I was ready for, and I was prepared for, and knew how to deal with it, and I woke okay. I woke okay. I woke comfortable. I woke uh, not needing to run and hide, not needing to plan out every detail of my day, not afraid of what may come later today or tomorrow or this week or next year. It felt really good. And for a while I was laying there going, hey, I think I could go about my day and just drink my coffee and not go live and sit in bed or look out the window or sit in my chair or read a book or do some stretching and drink some coffee and just have a quiet morning by myself. Thought about doing it. Thought about ending my show. Was wondering if it mattered. Because I was doing it for 5.5 years because I had something to say and because I knew there were other people out there that probably were going through some of the similar stuff, whether it was sobriety or addiction or relationships or divorces or financial lows or financial highs or struggles with life. So I decided it was okay to share mine. And just felt it fit. This morning I didn't really feel like I was struggling in life. Felt I was comfortable. I hadn't arrived. I'm staying in an extended stay for the last 7 weeks, I think, and working as a waiter at night at 56. But I was okay that I hadn't achieved everything that I wanted to achieve at this moment, or maybe I had. And what I strove to achieve had changed. And I was okay with where I was and how I felt, and laid there and kind of prayed about it and thought about it. Thought about some of the things I was grateful for, and it came real easy. The sleep I'd gotten, the work I had last night, the comfortable bed. Honestly, I needed to pee a little bit. I wasn't grateful that I needed to pee a little bit. I wish I could have laid there without that. I may had gone back to sleep. Maybe I would have gone back to sleep if I didn't need to go potty. But I think things happen for a reason. Oh, do I think things happen for a reason? So I got up, started my coffee, went to the washroom, got dressed. I'm sort of dressed, pseudo-dressed. I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Clean t-shirt, by the way. I thought it'd be a special show. And decided to hop on live. And wasn't really totally sure the need for it, for myself or for you guys, the demand for it. But then again, I didn't really worry about what the demand was, how big my audience would be, how many viewers I'd get, how long it would take to post on various social media platforms, how far behind I was in the editing of previous live video, because I'm like 5 weeks behind right now. And I just felt a calm, quiet peace to my morning, and it felt really good. It felt really good. But for those that have been watching a while, you know it's not just a show about me talking. You know it is also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. And honestly, I think I could have shared my love of coffee with just myself or with God or with my thoughts or with the sound of the highway out the window. But for some reason, I'm here. And I feel glad I did too. And thank you for saying that, TN. And good morning to you, Josh. And hello, Daddy. And Bo Warner, no, I do not use half and half. Not at home, I do not. But I am excited to drink my first sip of coffee this morning. And my hope is wherever you are, whatever you're doing, that you have a hot cup of coffee in front of you as well. Cheers to us. Oh. It's the pumpkin spice. I'll tell you, I was going through the things I was grateful for as I was laying in bed with kind of a quiet mind. Just almost out of an abundance of joy. A lot of times I'll go through the things I'm grateful for. Because I need to. And because I'm afraid or I'm struggling with anxiety or I'm worried about a issue I'm having with someone in my life or a job or a lack of job or something. But today I kind of was just feeling grateful. And I was grateful for the bed. I didn't have to remind myself I was grateful for the bed or the night's sleep. But I still thought, hey, this is probably good. I'm rattling off things I'm grateful for because I'm just grateful for them, not because I'm struggling with anxiety. And I go, let's think of one more. And I go, coffee. Have I tried going a day without coffee to see the side effects? I mean, I've certainly gone days without coffee. I don't want to. I don't want to today. So I'd say no. When I've gone a day without coffee, it wasn't just to see the side effects. It was because I didn't want the coffee. I wanted the coffee today. So it's Wednesday morning. Just finished off a stretch of waiting tables 5 nights in a row. Had a real nice shift last night. I mean, I was a little frustrated for a while. I got there early. I opened the restaurant. The restaurant kind of got busy. I felt a little envious because I only had a couple tiny little tables, and some waiters that got there a little later ended up with some big tables, and I was getting a little frustrated. And I think it's all right to get frustrated from time to time, and I was. But the night ended well, and I had the tables I had were very friendly and generous and kind and appreciative and reflected it in my tips, which was nice. And I got home. I did a extra show. I forget, I don't even know what social platform it was yesterday. And I went live on both Instagram and here on TikTok yesterday. And the TikTok show was basically talking about how little value I think the news gives us, and how little value it is knowing all the yucky stuff that's going on in the world. And some people look at it differently, and that's okay, but I honestly don't see much value in knowing the yucky stuff that's going on in the world, or And honestly, I think the news exists to keep us afraid or make us. I mean, I know what it exists for. It's to sell us commercial space. And they found the best way to keep our eyes viewed on their news broadcast is by tell us the horrible things that are going on in the world. And for some reason, that keeps us tuned in. And I caught myself yesterday. That's why I did this show, because I was watching CNBC and was bored that the market was up a little bit. And I was kind of wishing I could feel it in my body that I was thinking it'd be more exciting if it was down a bunch. And I got to dive into the reasons and wonder if the market was crashing and the sky was falling and the world was collapsing. And I was disappointed because the market was up a little bit. And I realized the same feelings I had about the market were probably applied to what's going on for other people that watch the news and want to know about tragedies or what have you. Made me think. Stacy said, but don't I enjoy documentaries and history? I do enjoy documentaries and history. The news is just documentaries of current history. Perhaps, that's funny. I appreciate the question. I appreciate you putting the words current history right next to each other because that made me chuckle. Is it? I mean, is there any benefit to me watching a documentary about whatever? The Depression or World War II or whatever. Dark periods in our history. The Dark Ages. Is that the same thing? Is that the same thing? It could be. You know, rarely do I watch documentaries about the golden years of when everything was going well and it was whatever period of time it might have been. Usually most documentaries in history I watch. I mean, there's some. Like I watched the National Parks documentary that was done by Ken Burns. And that's history. And that's not a dark period, the creation of the national parks per se. I mean, it's kind of just history. But I will agree, most history or most documentaries we watch are focused on a hard period of time. So I don't know. Sharon watches the weather. Yeah, but Sharon, you could watch I'll tell you what, there's something friendly and warm and fuzzy about watching the weather. Something feels kind of old-fashioned about watching the weather. Because obviously on our phones, we all have apps, weather apps, and we could get a fairly accurate weather forecast from our phones in 2 seconds. But for some reason, seeing a guy or a man or a woman pointing at the map and saying it's going to be hot, and seeing the raindrop clouds on the TV, I don't know. Let's see. Don't understand why reality TV is so intriguing. Well, in some ways, what I'm doing in front of you is reality TV, and you guys are watching. And I know I realize that. I think all of these things are opportunities for us to take our mind to another place. Maybe hide from our problems for a while. Focus on other people's problems or other people's issues, maybe. Or other people's lives. Neon Dion said, but I don't give us any drama like reality TV. Well, you haven't been watching my show very long. I mean, holy smokes. 2.5 months ago, I crashed my motorcycle right outside Little Bighorn in Montana, which, by the way, was awesome. Speaking of history, on my ride home from Yellowstone, I stopped by Little Bighorn, the site of Custer's Last Stand and the Native Americans, great significance in our country's history. And I felt it was a really, really, really cool experience. And just kind of walking on the hills and the fields and seeing the gravestones and reading about it. And yeah, it was really neat. But anyway, I crashed my motorcycle, half an hour before I got there. Not a horrific crash, but a bad enough one that my ankle still hurts 2 months later. And I pulled into a gas station to assess the damage and thought, hey, this may make good live video. So I pushed live and hobbled up to the camera and took off my bloody sock and assessed the damage and went through what happened. Not to mention, I've had a lot of drama in my life. Bunch of jobs, bunch of houses, relationships, children, marriages, highs and lows financially. Yeah. Let's have a little more coffee. Yeah, so I woke feeling good today, and I woke feeling quiet. And I always say this show's not about, I hope it helps people. I hope it helps people. I hope, I don't know, it gives you an escape, or it teaches you some lessons of what to do or what not to do, or shows you a few of my yoga positions, or even suggests a good coffee like the pumpkin spice. I hope there's value. But today I didn't feel the need to do it. I mean, and it wasn't dread or fear. But I thought about it and I said, hey, I could be okay not doing it today. And it made me wonder, am I doing it for the money? Am I doing it for the money? And would it be bad if I was? Would it be bad if I was? I had a record month on social media last month. Not a big record. I mean, the record was pretty good, but the total number wasn't really good. And is it bad to do things for the money? And am I bad if I'm doing this for the money? And if I'm doing it for this money, will it still soothe my soul? And will it still provide value to the viewers? Because that's kind of my driving force, that I'm a little crazy and I need to talk through things. And that me talking through my anxieties seems to benefit viewers for some reason. So maybe if there was an ulterior motive, a deep, dark motive, a capitalistic motive, that maybe the money's not too bad either. And maybe even though I'm soothed and calm and able to sleep in, the fact that I'm aware that it is starting to generate just a little bit of revenue, would that be a bad thing? Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. Okay, and if I'm doing it, say I was doing it for the money, let's just pretend, be hypothetical. Could I take it to another level? Could a simple fact that I popped on jeans today and a clean shirt be one small step of making this a little more professional? Making it seem a little fancier? Put a little more into the production value. I mean, don't worry. It'll still be the same great content. Bald man, 56 and climbing. And drinking coffee. Will Bilchill says, doing it for the money may compromise the sincerity of the show. But Will Bilchill, you and I both know that you and I both struggle with anxiety. And just the way you phrased that was kind of funny. It was like, what an anxious, and what I'm feeling too, that it may compromise something. And that you and I are worried about something that hasn't happened and probably won't happen. Do you know what I mean? The Buffalo check blanket was what made me stop by. It looked cozy and welcoming. Buffalo checked blanket. I don't know what you mean. You mean a Chicago Bears blanket? I don't know what you mean. Do you know what I'm saying, Will Bill? Because you asked a question about it may compromise the sincerity of the show. I mean, I'd like to make more money on this show. I enjoy my job as a waiter. I really do. And I make fairly good money. But, you know, there's certainly nights I'd like to just chill out or be able to do other things or visit a friend or see a movie or do nothing at all. Neon Dion said, how do I get caught up from 5 weeks behind? I'd say, Neon Dion, like you do everything else, one bite at a time. How do you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. When you look at it as 5 weeks behind, and again, my videos are now going about an hour each day, and sometimes I'm doing 2 videos a day. So as much as I'd like to catch up, because I don't want to be, editing a video where I'm talking about the World Series or something and have it be March. And if I keep going the way I'm going, that's what's going to happen, because, I was 3 weeks behind and now I'm 5 weeks behind. Maybe there's 2 ways you do it. You don't worry about it, because again, we're overthinkers. We're worried about how, oh no, I'm 5 weeks behind. Oh no. I might talk about the vice presidential debate today. It won't be relevant in 5 weeks. Oh no. And there's some truth to that, but, in the big picture, who really cares? How much does it matter? So if I don't get a short, a reel, or a clip, or a TikTok from today's video where I may or may not talk about the vice presidential debate, because it won't be timely in 5 weeks when I get to editing this content, maybe that's okay too. Maybe that's okay too. T.N. James said, overthinkers unite. I am what I am. And I agree with that, and I like the idea of being okay with it. Or not ashamed of it, at least. But it's also good to be aware of it, and I think put your arms around that, hey, you're getting worried about things that really don't matter. I'm worrying whether me doing it for the money would compromise the sincerity of the show, or or if I'm 5 weeks behind, is that going to be trouble? Or when what really matters is How warm is my coffee? Let's see. Ah, still warm enough to drink. But let me tell you, the seed has been planted. Uh, the seed has been planted to go get some more. Yeah, Will Bill, chill. You said not worrying about it is good advice. Hold on, I'm going to get some more coffee. Because, and again, it might not be me, and might not just be you, Will Bill, or you, TN James, that are overthinkers. Maybe we all do. Maybe we all do. Our minds just go from dark. Oh, what am I going to do? Boop, boop, boop. Is the commercial over? Or has the Bears game started? What am I going to eat for lunch? Am I going to make it to the appointment on time? Is my shoulder hurt? You just go from one thought to the next. You just go from one thought to the next. And you let your thoughts run who you are and become who you are. And your worries become who you are. And if you take it to the nth degree, you end up hiding underneath your covers, terrified about what's going on in the world. I was talking to a woman last night at work, and she was telling me about all her stuff that she's dealing with. And then she brought up the thing about how food might become scarce. And honestly, I wasn't totally sure what she was talking about, but quickly realized it was something to do with the port workers' strike. And that made me feel that I just asked her, do you watch a lot of news? And she said, well, I watch some. I like to keep updated. And again, which brought me to this. Thinking that the news isn't good. And that whether this woman or somebody out there is hoarding food and building a cave in their backyard and putting all these jars of food in the cave so they can have food, while their neighbors that didn't worry about the port workers' strike are going hungry on the outside. But I'll just tell you, worrying about all that stuff kind of sucks. And I understood where this woman was coming from, and I used to worry about it all too. And sometimes I still do. But I don't worry that I worry, if that makes sense. I catch myself and go, none of that's probably going to happen. If it does, I'll handle that as it comes. I'll handle it as it comes. I'm currently riding a scooter. If I wanted to be worried, I'd be worried about the risks involved in riding a scooter around. It's October 2nd. Probably have another 6 weeks of weather where it's okay to ride on two wheels. Usually we get our first snow-ish around Thanksgiving. So I'm going to need a car. I'd like a bigger home. I'd like more money. I'd like a full head of hair. But me wishing I had a full head of hair isn't going to do any good. A little bit. I watched, there's a hypnosis guy here on TikTok, and he has a ton of followers. And he came out and said he's going to change what he's doing, because what he's doing didn't follow his Christian beliefs a little bit. And that he thought by putting out the message of, he did a lot of videos about manifesting things. And if you put your thoughts in a positive place and think about the new fancy car in some certain way, you're going to get a new fancy car, and you're going to get millions of dollars, and you're going to get a job and a big house and beautiful wife and whatever we all dream to. But he kind of realized that it's not what you have that brings you peace. For him, he realized his faith was what brought him peace. So he said he deleted all his videos about manifesting. Still not totally sure how I feel about it. I often will drift off to these hypnotists' videos. Get comfy in bed. Shut my blinds. Put on my earphones and listen to the soothing voices of hypnotists talking about relaxing. Feels so good. Then your body starts kind of, you got to pull the covers, blankies up extra tight around your shoulders to keep warm. And your mind starts floating away. That next thing you know, you jump up and it's like half an hour later and the video's on repeat. I don't know his name, Chip. It's a guy, and I don't know. I bet you if you go on TikTok and search up hypnotist, he'll come up. Otis asked, do I get lonely? Less than I ever have. I'm more alone now I spend more time by myself now than I probably do at any other time in my life. But I feel less lonely. And that's a really good feeling. And again, when I woke this morning, it's my first night off work I've worked 5 nights straight, and I don't work tonight. And I have no great to-do list in front of me. There's things I'd like to get done. I'd love to see my kids. I'd love to go to the gym. I'd love to do a whole bunch of things, but there's nothing I had to do. And felt nice. And I felt no matter what I choose to do today, or whether I go live on Coffee with Ken or whether I don't, or no matter the platform, or things were going to be okay. And I was going to have a good day. And my bills were going to be paid. And my financial responsibilities were going to be covered. And one way or the other, I'd be able to get to work when the snow comes. And God willing, I'll have a car by then. If not, I'll do what I have to do. I'd take a bus. I'd walk. I'd move closer. I'd like a bigger home. And I think I'll have a bigger home. And I think I'll have a bedroom for my kids, all set up for my kids. But worrying about all of it is I don't know. I think you need to move forward, and you need to have a good attitude. And I think there's a time and a place to go, hey, I need to change this or this or this. But I think for me and a lot of us that are just imagining the worst case, and I almost think it's everybody. Because when I went out to Yellowstone in May and I rode my scooter, I can't tell you how many people reached out and told me I shouldn't do it and wanted to talk about all the horrific things that could happen on my scooter ride out to Yellowstone. And I spent, I should have been I spent the month prior to me leaving half the time being terrified. And it was one of the coolest things I've ever done. And I'm glad I didn't listen to the people that told me not to. And on the ride home, I crashed and hurt my ankle. Life has pitfalls. You're going to even fall into some of them. No matter what you do, how careful you are, how prepared you are. Okay, let me talk about this. Talk about a commercial I saw the other day. It was for LifeLock, which is like a identity theft prevention business. And the woman in the commercial, and I'm sure she's a paid actress, just going, "Oh, I did everything right, and I still got my identity stolen." It made me chuckle. And that's kind of manifesting. She did everything right to protect her identity. I would say anyone that's trying to do everything right is bringing it upon themselves and is manifesting identity theft of themselves. And it just made me chuckle. Anyone that's so careful is probably being too careful. And I'm not telling anybody what to do. But I think this actress for identity theft, LifeLock, and her desire to do everything right to protect her identity was doing the exact wrong thing. And it was bringing it upon herself. I'm doing well, Farmer. How are you? I do have my socks on. And I am having a nice day. I mean, it's only 6:13. Let's have a little more coffee. But it feels so good today. Getting started early, doing some stretches, drinking some delicious coffee, having a nectarine, apples, oranges, and cottage cheese waiting for me, having the whole day ahead of me, or no work scheduled and no great to-dos are happening. Well, T.N. James said his ex-wife was a germaphobe, did everything right. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. For those that are worried about everything. I've always been a believer in God made dirt, dirt don't hurt. And if you have apple fall on the floor, you can still pick it up and eat it. And in a lot of ways, the less we know, the better. There was a woman that works in the coffee shop I've been going to, and I heard her talking about all the stuff that's in swimming pools. And how she don't like swimming pools because she read something that said how the water is made up of all this yucky stuff. I don't know. I've been going in swimming pools, as we all have most of our lives, and we're doing okay. And I think worrying about how many parts per million various yucky things are in your water in the swimming pool isn't going to help you. And worrying about the number of bacteria that are on this table isn't going to help you. And, I just think it's a lot of worry for nothing. Because things are okay. Whether you go in the swimming pool or you don't, things are okay. And if something out of your control does happen, and good or bad. You win the lottery or a bus runs you over. Uh, I don't think there's much you can do about it either way. So I think it's best to uh, just be thankful, be in the moment, enjoy the moment, and have faith things are going to work out, and hope for the best, and keep going with a smile, and pouring your coffee and drinking your coffee, and loving on yourself and loving those that matter to you, not worrying what other people think. Or again, even in a discussion where I'm not trying to talk about worry, the subject of worry comes up. I did a video the other day and I said this: what other people think of you is none of your business. And some people will try and make what they think of you your business. But the more you embrace that thought, when somebody might be saying something mean to you, hey, that's not my business. Oh. But anyway, good morning, Frozen Land. Thank you for hopping on. I was about to sign off, but Frozen Land 67 gave me a little boost of energy. And then my phone said the charge was running low. And I had two thoughts. Maybe I should sign off quickly before the phone disappears. Or maybe I should just plug it in. I plugged it in. I didn't actually plug it in. Used a little battery and stuck it to the back. Hopefully it's charging. If it's not, you'll know, because in like 5 minutes, I'll be in the middle of a sentence and the screen will disappear. I wonder if TikTok will save the live video. I worry that they won't. I worry that they won't. I wonder if my phone is actually being charged right now. I worry that it's not. I guess we're going to find out how much that value is, me worrying about whether my phone's being charged or not. Feels good starting early. And do I like electric cars? I'm torn on it a little bit, Stacy. I think the clean environment's good. I worry, I wonder that is the manufacturing process of the electric car and the whatever is being done to the environment to create the batteries that go in the car, is the net good for the world? And I don't know. I think there's something neat about driving an electric car. I've got a friend that owns a Tesla. I drove him home once because he had a few drinks. I had a hard time figuring out how to start the dang thing. I'm going, where's the key? How do you get the ignition? Has it started? I pushed a button, but am I ready to go? Oh yeah, just put on the gas. So there's something neat about them. And maybe it's the way of the future. Electric cars, electric things. But I don't know. Part of me, and it's probably the part that's fading away, is, the sound of the engine, or I don't know, something maybe old-fashioned, but something reminds us of our childhood about pulling into a gas station and the smell of gas. Nostalgia, I guess. But like everything else, time passes and things change, and maybe that'll just be the thing in our distant memories and in history books someday soon. Probably will. Probably will. Will Bill Chill asks, what was my favorite decade? 70s, 80s, or 90s? Do I have to pick from those three? I'd say my favorite decade are the 2020s, the decade we're in. I feel better about where I'm at and what I'm doing and the direction I'm going and the way I feel about myself and the world than I ever have before. So I'd say this decade's my favorite. People are saying the 80s is their favorite decade. I certainly look back fondly on my period of my life that was the 80s. I was 12 in 1980 and I was 22 in 1990. So those were certainly very formulative, is that the right word? Years for me. Going from a boy to a young man. Going from junior high to my first real job. You know, my first girlfriend, my first kiss, my first so many things happened during the 80s. If you had a time machine, what would be the first time I'd visit? See, it's kind of scary, Stacy, because I'm thinking about the documentaries I watch, and I'd like to go back in time to, I don't know, some historic period, but I'm worried I'd come out of my time machine and I'd be in the middle of Gettysburg or something like that, you know? Or I'd be on Bunker Hill. Go, holy crap, take me back to the extended stay. Would I go to see the dinosaurs? I mean, okay, I never thought that far back. I mean, that would be scary, because again, I worry I'd be trapped there. That I'd be the one human being. And various velociraptors and T-Rexes would be chasing me. And I'd be going, oh! Where's my Tesla? Where's my electric car? Want to hop in it? Be safe? Wonder what I would robe myself with. Palm fronds. Would I need to wear clothes? Because there would be nobody else to be embarrassed about. I don't think the dinosaurs would care that I was nude. They'd look at me as a snack either way. Probably be interesting hanging out with like a brontosaurus, just kind of chewing his leaves. But it's probably just like a cow chewing their grass, chewing the cud. It'd probably be neat to go and check out dinosaurs for a little bit, but scary all the time. It'd be frightening going back in time to any period. I don't know. Time wave continuum. Tear a rip into it. Things would go asunder. T.N. James said they'd go back to yesterday and then head straight to the sports book today. It was funny, I went to work last night and James said they'd go back to yesterday and then head straight to the sports book today. It was funny, I went to work last night and I asked them how their weekend was. And somebody told me that, well, it was good, the Bears won. And I go, wow. They won? Did they play? It's Tuesday. I didn't even know the Bears played. Kind of interesting how distant I am from things that mattered so much to me. Thank you, Dennis. And how little, I don't know, professional sports matter. Heard the White Sox had a horrible year, lost more games than any other team in history. I know that bums some people out. Yeah. Yeah. Let's have a little more coffee. Well, I might end my show without even discussing the vice presidential debates. Maybe that'd be a good way to go. Not bring up politics at all. but I did watch it at the end yesterday. I was actually somewhat impressed. Uh, I found both candidates a little more likable than I anticipated. And that kind of felt nice. That kind of felt nice. Kind of gave me some hope. And we should always have hope. Chip's asking if I'm going to do another prime time with Ken. I think somebody asked me about Pete Rose. I think Pete Rose should have been in the Hall of Fame from day one. Thank you, Teddy. I don't think, yeah. And I saw a good video on this. Pete Rose got banned for gambling. And maybe he bet on his team, but, today the sports industry and the professional sports and college sports too has embraced gambling and has partnered with gambling, and be it DraftKings or whatever, all this, they realize that gambling moves the meter and gambling makes sports more interesting. And the fact that half the world does fantasy football and has an app on their phone that allows them to bet on a game, professional and college sports are in bed with gambling. Maybe they always were, but they're openly in bed with them. And because of that, having an issue that Pete Rose bet on games seems ridiculous. Right? I mean, somebody just said if they could do anything, we'd go back to yesterday so they could bet on the games today. It is such commonplace betting on games. Everybody I work with is betting on various games. And yeah. I mean, I would imagine they know. I would assume half the Major League Baseball players are betting on games right now. I mean, I don't know. Are they not? Are they not? I would assume they are. Yeah. Well, Stacey, I don't know if Pete Rose was being open. He got caught. Yeah. But it seems so silly and so antiquated. T.N. James says that he hopes Major League players aren't betting on games. But why? I mean, you are. I understand because you might think they'd throw a game, but I don't know. It's everybody I know has DraftKings or some app on their phone so they can bet on games. Do we expect athletes to be of higher moral fiber than ourselves? Yeah, seems silly if we do. Seems silly if they do. So, yeah, I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. It'd be almost sad to see him. It's kind of sad that he wasn't in while he was alive, because I'm sure it meant a lot to him. He tried really hard. He loved the sport. He was great at it. And he passed away without ever getting in to the Hall of Fame. I hope he was happy with his life and content with his life. Either way. I hope he found some peace and found some happiness, even not ever getting in. But I don't know. I don't know what was inside his soul, but I hope he felt good. And hope he was happy with who he was and what he accomplished and the difference that he made. So. But it's Wednesday morning. Teddy Kizzy said, players can't gamble. Could affect the integrity of the game. It's the number one rule, and posted everywhere. While I understand you're saying that, Teddy, I think believing that there is any integrity of the game makes me kind of chuckle a little bit. Yeah. I have no assumption that there's any integrity in professional sports at all. I wouldn't put it past the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball from doing anything at all for money. So, yeah, I don't know that there is any integrity to the game. I would assume the guys want to win. I mean, shoot, when I play a game of one-on-one basketball, I want to win. You know, they're doing it in front of crowds. But, yeah. Somebody just said, and this is what's interesting to me. Yeah, there we go. That's what I thought. You are more cynical than we thought. Makes me wonder. When somebody, I understand I might be more cynical than you thought, but how do you know I'm more cynical than we thought? Makes me wonder when somebody makes a comment like that. You know? And then I looked at who they were, and they had 0 subscribers and 0 followers. Whenever anybody speaks as if their thought is of the masses, you know? I understand I might be more cynical than you thought. But whenever they say, then we thought, who is we? User 758-607-088-05946. Who is the we? Who is the we that you refer to? Do you speak for we? And they wrote something I'm having a hard time not teasing about, but I'll let it go. But anyway, I've had a wonderful morning. I had a great night's sleep. I enjoyed my coffee. I enjoyed the engagement today. Feels great having my feet up, my socks on. Somebody was fascinated with whether I was wearing socks or not. And it's just 6:30 in the morning. And I got the whole day ahead of me. And you guys have your day ahead of you too. And I hope you had a great night's sleep. And I hope you're enjoying your coffee. And you are living in the moment. And you're feeling good. And it's Wednesday, so it's hump day. Your week's going real well. And I hope you are loving yourself. And I hope that you are forgiving yourself. And I thank you for anyone that's throwing me the likes or the loves as I'm signing off. I really do appreciate you all for hopping on and being a part of my journey and following along. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hope you're feeling good, loving yourself, forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.